Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a big day of football. It is the SATIS Australian Rules Football Grand Final for 2014. It is Hutchins versus St Pat's. It is tradition, rivalry that goes back many a long year, and we are bringing this game to you live from the War Memorial Oval. Let's pop down to the ground and get an interview with Guy Franklin.
Thanks, Hoppy. Yes, here we are live at WMO. Look, Hoppy, as you asked, the weather conditions are not ideal for football. There's been a bit of light rain, no breeze, so it's not blowing either end of the ground.
And Guy, how do the teams match up?
Yes, look, with these two teams, they've met quite a bit this year, and Hutchins so far are undefeated. And in the earlier games, they've really only just snuck over the line by about 30 points in the first one. And when they met a couple of weeks ago, St Patrick's were fighting back. So we should expect a really tight encounter here today, so it should be a great game.
Now also, Guy, I believe you've got one of the local legends from Hutchins down there with you. Let's get that interview.
Yes, Hoppy, I've got Barry Irons with me here. He's a real icon here from the Hutchins School, been here since the day I was born. 24 years there, Barry. He's a registrar at the school now. Barry, how important is this competition, this football competition to schools, independent schools around Tasmania?
Such an important part of what we do. You know, it's all very well having sport at a school, but unless you've got people to play against, the exercise is pretty meaningless. And it's really important that we have the support of the northern schools, so we can go up and play St Pat's, Grammar and Scotch. It keeps our football alive, and it kept 60 plus boys playing football. What would they be doing if they weren't playing football for the school? Who knows? But I think the other side of it too is just such a pity that other schools in the southern parts of the state aren't playing as well, because the commitment to travel every week is a big one. But when all is said and done, independent schools competition, fantastic for all of us. And we look forward to it, no matter what sport it is.
And with the football, the rivalry between St Patrick's and Hutchins has always been so great. Now, Hutchins hasn't had success since 2009, so it's been about 4 or 5 years since they've really made a real force, and this is their first grand final since then. So how do you expect things to pan out?
It's been a really interesting season, because we've managed to knock St Pat's off up in Launceston, which is a huge achievement. St Pat's football over the years has been really, really good, and Scotch have been going through a really higher too for the last few years. So to make the grand final is a big achievement. To go into it unbeaten is even better, and probably puts a little more pressure on the lads today, but it will be a lot of fun.
No doubt. And who do you pick for today's game, and by how much?
I can only go for one team, and I reckon it'll be by 4 goals.
Okay, thank you very much, Barry Irons. As the excitement builds here, yes, Hoppy, I can tell you a little bit about the Hutchins team, but with St Patrick's collectively, they are a great unit. They've come out, they'll be very competitive. I spoke to the coach, and he is absolutely pumped, and they are too. In their last encounter, they were gaining momentum, and they want to keep that momentum. But with the players from Hutchins, they've got a very strong contingent. They were without their captain, Ollie Jones, who has Mariners duties, and also Ben Johnson, and he's a real playmaker too, Ben. But on the back line, we've got Will Hay, who's been in fantastic form. He'll probably be looking at the Mariners next year. And moving through, you've got Will Campbell, who's been a fantastic captain for the side in Ollie's absence. And also probably in the middle, that's where it needs to be won. Will Campbell playing through that. You've got Nat Franklin, you've got young Green, you've got Dendawang. You've also got people like Harry Bryant, these young guns coming through. On the forward line, where it's going to be won, I think, by Hutchins, they've got a fantastic team of the Bastick brothers, the Twin Towers, are both in fine form. And you've got Josh Williamson, who's been in fantastic form too. He'll be winning the ball. And the real key to the two teams today, I think, will be Luke Murfitt-Cohen, who has been under a bit of an injury cloud. He's just such a dominant player in this competition, and he'll be looking to kick goals, but also to really take this game on. So, Hoppy, I'll take it, send it back to you in the central commentary position. Have a great call, and we'll look forward to seeing the result. Okay, I'm here with Adrian Finch, the head of the sport department at Hutchins. Adrian, how important is this game today?
Well, it's a grand final, so I think it's obviously very important. But the boys are really keen to get out there and obviously win the SATIS trophy. After the work they've put in, especially our boys started week 1 of the term when they arrived back at school. We got them training on probably night 2, so they put in a lot of work, and we get a few rowers and cricket boys that don't get the opportunity to join in pre-season. But now they're red hot, ready to go. So they've had a good pre-season. They're playing well together. That's the thing. So we got probably half of our boys play club footy, and the other half don't. So it's really good to see those boys really lift and meet the I suppose the expectations those blokes that play club footy, and bring them right into the game and creating really good team culture. So I think big day. If that answers your question and a few other questions
and more, and the rivalry here between these two sides, these two schools, it's been long-standing. Hutchins hasn't been as successful over the last couple of years. I think 2009 since they last won. How do you see them going today?
Yeah, look, that's the way it goes, I suppose, with schoolboy footy. You sort of you have ups and downs, and St Pat's obviously they've had a bit of that a few years ago, but the last 3 years they've been very strong, obviously leading the competition, and they've certainly been the ones to beat. We hosted the grand final down here in 2010 against Scotch Oakburn, so St Pat's obviously going through that trough during that time. And the year before, I think we played St Pat's at St Pat's and won both the first and the seconds that year. So we've it was always a good rivalry. There's only 4 schools in the competition, as you know, but there's always a rivalry between St Pat's and Hutchins, which we'll be seeing a bit of today, I reckon.
And without the captain Ollie Jones and Ben Johnson, that leaves a little bit of a hole in the team, do you think?
Yeah, a great opportunity for those boys to be obviously representing the state in the national carnival. So all the best to those boys. But I think the boys that we've got to bring up have been of really good quality, and there's still some boys missing out that played in the twos game before. And you can see the standard of that competition is really lifting. And some of the boys that we got running around in the twos certainly played a lot of ones football throughout the year, and so we're pretty lucky with that in that regard. We've got a lot of boys to choose from. We had 60 boys on the training track with probably 10 away every time. So we've got 70 boys playing footy, which is outstanding between the two teams. So.
Okay, thanks very much, Finchy. The game's not too far off starting. We'll swing back to you in the central commentary position there, Andrew Silver Fox Hopwood. Have a great call.
Thanks very much, Guy. Yes, it is building up here. You can sense it, you can smell it. It is a grand final, but prior to getting underway, the combatants will go down and face off in the tradition of the national anthem.
Could I please ask everyone to be upstanding for the national anthem? We'll hope it works this time.
Tell you what, I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, that has got the hair on the back of the neck, up and about. It is going to be a fantastic game, and I'm joined in the central commentary position by Martin Duffy. Duff, you've had a wander down the ground and you're excited.
Oh yeah, great atmosphere here. You can just feel the sort of nervous tension around the ground. Look at all the mums and dads are here in the outer, right behind us. Really looking forward to this match, and it's the first time that Duff TV's had the pleasure in filming one of these independent schools grand finals.
Well, it's much anticipated as the ball goes up. As we can see the casino in the background, it's a beautiful backdrop down here at Hutchins. Ball goes forward. A lot of courage coming out there from St Pat's. Head over the ball. That was nice play by Green. It's just trying to feel their way. And as you can see, the boys are pumped and primed up. These guys are in really good nick. They're boys at grade 12, grade 11. So they're certainly at the top of their game. Is now going forward. It comes out towards Hutchins. That's Will Hay. He's first to the ball. It goes close to the boundary line under strict attention there from Matthew Allen. And it goes over. So a boundary throw-in will ensue. Duff, I tell you what, mate, you and I bring a lot of junior football to Tasmania, but there's no way known you and I'd be standing out there. These guys are very strong-looking hombres.
They are here to play football. I tell you what, they play for their school. There's a lot of pride out there. And we've already had the second 11 match, and I can tell you now, Hoppy, in that game, there was a lot of pride online. And it was Hutchins in that game that was far too good. But here goes St Pat's for the first time. A forward press here. Just one of the players wanted to note out there, number 29 for the St Pat's boys, the real nuggety fella, Matthew Allen, very, very dangerous forward player up front, Hoppy.
Certainly is, as the ball comes in. That's not in long enough, and the ruckman are just facing up. Big Lachlan Lee, he is taking that ball up. That's a nice tap up. Up they go now. It's a snap on goal. I think that's a beautiful one. That's Rising, I think, has snapped that one on the left. So something out of nothing on the stoppage. And St Pat stuff up and about. That's brilliant work by them. A lovely set play. The tap over the back out to space as we watch it again. And he just picked it up beautifully and slipped it over. On those stoppages, Duff, you cannot give anyone any space. And you have to have that touch and feel on your player.
And it just looked as though he actually meant to do that to the rover there, Hoppy. I don't think it was a fluke. It was just a very, very good piece of ruck work.
It certainly was. And so that has drawn first blood. That will give the Northerners who have travelled down for the big game a lot of confidence as the umpire has blown the whistle. And yet again, they're going to be feeling their way, Duff, and you want to be first to the ball. There is no doubt about that. St Pat's now just trying to size up what option to go with. It comes out now over the back, slips with the fingers, and Johnson picks it up. That one smothered. It comes up to his teammate and Carlson. Carlson now drives that ball forward. Coming out, the big man in defence did well there was Douglas. But it comes back over again, and they're loose, and they're on fire. And St Pat's have got another goal, Duff. That's tremendous work there. I didn't quite pick up the play. I think it was number 11, Jaden Brown, as we just watched that stoppage. The ball comes down here, just a little bit slippery, kept his feet brilliantly, did Brown, and just slotted that through on his left side. And St Pat's, within a matter of a minute, this is fantastic start to the game, Duff.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes in, they've got 2 goals on the board. Look, they're even too fast for the scoreboard in the background there. I'll be a bit slow on the scoreboard here at Hutchins today. But what a start, 2 straight 12. They've taken it down forward twice. They've got 2 goals and they're up and about.
Oh, we don't want to start talking about circa 1973, do we, Duff, when the great Sandy Bay in this territory went through that season undefeated. And who would have believed it? They were beaten in that grand final. I mean, there's a long way to go, but St Pat's, aren't they showing their intent? And that's a great tackle. Franklin now comes away, plays the advantage. He goes for that out to that open space. That's Walker in defence, first man to the ball. Fighting very hard was Williamson for Hutchins. Fighting now, he picks that ball up, goes onto the left foot, but yet again the tackling pressure is immense now as St Pat's just trying to work their way out of it. Lovely pick-up on the play there from Hawksley. Hawksley now back towards the wing. There's a tough play here as Young goes over. Now he comes back and picks up that ball. Handball, Franklin tried to get that tap out, but now Hutchins take their time and they go forward. Man in front was just bumped aside, but safely, says the umpire, as Lukey Williams is there. He's very strong across that half back, and my reports tell me he's been tremendous the whole series. As now they pick it up. That was Carlson, gets that handball out. It's very close in tight there, Duff.
It is, and a lot of big bodies out there, Hop. A lot of the boys you can see are working out. No doubt they go to Genesis Gym in Hobart City. I'm not sure where the St Pat's boys goes, but the...
Oh, they'd get the bus down, Duff.
Oh, would they? But the St Pat's boys have got some size on them as well. That's a good pass and a good mark there to St Pat's.
Yeah, that was Brown, who was, of course, the goal kicker a minute ago. That's great courage there by Murfitt. Going the wrong way. He had no fear for his body. He had the big defenders coming out. I think that was Douglas. He came back, as we're going to watch that again. That is as good a mark as you will see in any form of football. Brilliant work, Duff.
Yeah, a lot of courage to be backing back like that. And this will be their third kick on goal, and they are looking very, very dangerous at the moment.
So Curtis Murphy drives that ball toward the goal. I think he's making him work just that little bit to the right. It was right on his limit and through for the minor score. But as yet, Hutchins really haven't had it into their forward 50, Duff.
No, there's a slight breeze going to the right of screen, but it's really only about a goal, so I don't think that's a really telling factor. But they're just not able to squeeze it past the centre line at the moment.
It's just the intensity so far, and St Pat's, you were down and listening to the coaches before, Duff, and they said that they wanted to come out and hit hard early, show their intent, as that ball was driven there by Hawksley, but on this occasion, on his wrong side, has put it through on the full, and it is now Hutchins for their opportunity as they've got it towards that half-back flank. Big Douglas yet again, he's fighting pretty hard, he's a strong man. Goes back now towards Green. Green picks that ball up, going towards the half-back flank. Lovely smile. Just tapping it out wide. It's quite slippery out there, Duff, and we can see the umbrellas there, just that light sheen of rain, which makes it really tricky. It's Johnson. Johnson evading tackles. He's on that 50-metre line. That's a lovely looking kick. It won't quite make the distance. Terrific work in defence by Will Hay. Does the correct thing and knocks it through for a behind. They've just settled the better, Duff.
They have, but the last few minutes, Hutchins have repelled a few of the forward thrusts. So here we go, here's a free kick. Let's see if Hutchins can get some ball movement going.
That'll give him a bit of confidence. That's where you want to be, as Bryant decided to sort of plonk himself in the front of the pack. Came out wide towards Johnson. And now it's Liam Johnson who gets at a very open forward line. I tell you one thing, Duff, I would be checking my studs. Get rid of the moulded soles and get the long screw-ins, because I tell you what, a lot of kiddies are falling over and you need to stand strong through the core, especially when it's a bit damp. As Hutchins, every time they've gone for the ball, there's been a couple of St Pat's, they're really applying the blowtorch in the early stages. A long time to go, and they'll pick up the pace as Hay, yet again, falling over, gets the handball out towards Campbell, the captain of the Hutchins boys. But that's intercepted by St Pat's, and Murphy drives it back down. It's a lovely grab. There's been a free kick on play, and Connor Young has taken that mark. Young goes back inside, but going back. Oh, that's a pretty clever mark. Den Duang now goes the short pass. They've come out to that outer side where the play has opened up. Oh, that one there, he's copped an unfortunate blow there, Duff. There was no intent on that one. Just went across the chops.
Yep, he's down too, this player in the background, Hobby.
Well, we'll keep our eyes on that young man now as the ball comes back. It's Den Duang who picks that one up, goes the handball. Very slippery onion at this stage. That's a great tackle with nowhere to go.
I think the play may stop here, Andrew. Yep. This player for St Pat's is, like you said, copped an unfortunate one. It was just in a...
Just went across the throat, I think, there, Duff.
Yeah.
I think there's certainly no intent at all. There's a little bit of a remonstration there by Carlson, and didn't quite pick up that ball, but they're smothering beautifully as they go in. And what do you think of the Guernsey stuff? Do you like the stripes?
I do. It's just sort of that Hawthorn sort of Guernsey. And yeah, I think this guy's going to get in a bit of trouble here, Hoppy. I think he might have to come off, the poor young fellow. We'll get a name on him in a second.
They've just got to wait until the ball leave the area, or the player leave the area, which makes it much easier, and very astute umpiring.
Players have been going in pretty hard, as you'd expect. It's a grand final and everybody's up and about, but you never want to see an injury.
Certainly take it to another level, and it's great to see you fighting hard for your school, playing for the colours. These young men, of course, have gone here since primary school, all the way through, from sitting on the mat as a young man, a young baby, when you first face off in primary school, to right through to grade 12. So it's a fantastic feeling, I would think, to represent your school, and all the schools here to watch as now Hutchins gain possession as it comes out with a lovely kick toward goal, and it is through for a minor score.
Yep, and he's just screwed that off to the side of the left there. I think we've got a number 12, have we? We haven't got a number there on, or a name on a number 12, and also number 24. A couple of changes there, so we might go down and try and get some names on these boys. Now, something's happened off the ball here.
Yeah, we'll go down to our roving reporter, and here is one of those said young men that we don't have the number for. So it's a bit of a kick.
About that.
Yep, kick on now. Just straight up the middle. As you can see, the rain is starting to fall. That was terrific work there by Murphy. Thought he almost came down with that one, but it was touched. So a ball up. It's in the Hutchins forward line. There's an opportunity for them. Just got to work their way forward. And as that rain gets a little bit heavier, Duff, those couple of goals early are absolutely priceless as the ball's slipping end over end. It's towards that outer side. Nicely worked there by Young, just trying to keep the ball moving and keep it in front of him. He's just pushing it over. There's, as you can see there, Duff, the spirit. They've got the St Pat's College banners and flags and mums and dads. They're all here to watch this big game. It is the grand final of the SATIS competition. Tapping out now. Beautiful play now, and they're really icy conditions as that ball is slipped over. St Pat's into attack again, but Hutchins picking in that ball. That's a brilliant tackle. That's those 1% of things that really give you a lift. Brilliant work, and St Pat's have opened up now, and Brown, who has already kicked a goal, has taken a nice mark at centre half forward. Too far out to score. He's trying to find one of the options down forward. That was a lovely pass. Tucker made good ground, but that slippery ball has gone through the fingers.
Here's the replay of that beautiful tackle, Hoppy. Oh, just sort of brought him down with the weight of his own body. Fantastic.
If you look up in the dictionary under AFL tackle, Duff, and how to do it, that's what would come up. Franklin driving off the half-back flank. He's sort of loose man across there playing in the midfield. And he's one that they'll have to watch, St Pat's. But at this stage, they're doing all the right things, and a beautiful strong mark there by Young. Young, nice big barrel-chested, strong-looking young man across that half-back flank. Passes it out towards Samet. Samet back in board. They're really linking up nicely now as Tucker just taking their time, building. And they've got a nice open forward line when it goes down in there as well, which in the last foray for Hutchins has been a little bit busy down there and not open at all, as now Hutchins just get that handball moving. It's look at the tackling pressure by St Pat's. It is immense. They're just not letting Hutchins get their dukes on the ball at all as Nicholson drives that back over, and I think he might have stepped that one through for a goal. That is a brilliant piece of work. That I didn't even think to call that as a goal. He just sort of threw it onto the boot, and brilliantly he knew what he was doing. As we look at the replay, Hutchins had the opportunity to clear it, but that damp ball yet again in the fumble, and St Pat's are all over this game at the moment as a quick kick on the left foot, drove it toward goal and put it through. That's 3 goals now, Dale.
Just great pressure. That's what you want to see as a coach, just great pressure. All the 1%ers, like you said before, Andrew, it's causing the errors on behalf of Hutchins, and well, St Pat's 19 points up. We're about 15 minutes into the first quarter.
And the thing that happens also, Duff, when you haven't been put under this pressure, all of a sudden your head starts to nod and you start to turn around and have a look at each other. And you're really wanting someone to stand up. So the Hutchins have done it all year, and we'll expect them to just work their way into their match. And that was a pretty strong mark there. There was a thought there might have been a push, but I think he just used his body very, very nicely. And that was lovely play by Murphy Cohen. As we see the replay, he just stood his ground, protected the area that it was in. Oh, there might have been a little bit of hands in the back there, Duff, as we saw the slow-mo replay, but he got away with that one.
Very colourful player, very talented boy, this boy. Really looking forward to just seeing where his footy might go, and he should slot this one, Hoppy.
All right, he certainly goes kicking towards the Derwent River end, and it's just pushed away to the right, but I think that might be the first score, Duff.
Well, something's happened here.
There's a bit of a fracas back here. There's certainly some feeling. Maybe, has that score counted, Duff? I think he's been taken off.
Yeah.
Oh, too high.
I think he's kicked a point, and then the backman said something to him like, bad shot, mate, bad luck. And young Luke's come up and just remonstrated, and he's been sent off.
And now I think there's a bit of a blood rule here as well. I think that was Nathan Parkin who might have just sort of mentioned to him about the lack of accuracy. And now he's just going off, get that claret cleaned up, and he'll be back on screen. Duff, they are playing with feeling.
They are, both sides.
We can sense it, can't we, up in the commentary tower?
I just love it, Andrew. I just love it. You know, the boys are playing for their school. They love their school, and they love playing with their mates, and it's fantastic.
Well, that's the thing. It's the last opportunity of being at this level to play with your mates.
That's right. Not all the boys play club footy. Guy Franklin was saying about 50% of the boys play with Sandy Bay and North Hobart and other clubs down here for Hutchins, and a lot of the boys could probably play club footy if they're definitely good enough, Hoppy, because the standard of the footy here is pretty good.
Certainly is, as St Pat's go back inboard, but to no avail, as mopping up that one was Morgan. Morgan drives out towards the wing. It's Spills out wide as O'Keefe just tapped that ball, but chipping in is Tucker. Tucker goes the handball, but it's a very slippery onion. That one's far too high as Walker came through. Their intent, and they're first to the ball at the minute. They have to lift it up because belief will build by St Pat's, and if they start getting that sniff and they all of a sudden they sense it, they'll be very hard to stop. There is no doubt about that. As Denwang picks up, he's a very slippery customer, and he goes back in to get it again. He tries to just bludgeon it out, but St Pat's have the numbers and they're protecting each other over the ball. A very short handball as Hutchins now. They're really working hard, and the ferocity, you can sense it from here, and you can probably see it on your screen as it comes out to St Pat's. They're free again. They've opened up the big sticks and put that one through for another goal. Brilliant work there, Duff, and I think that was young Dylan Johnson. Let's have a look on screen yet again. As that ball spelt free, they have just got no time and space at all. And when it spilled out, they had the runners. They were sucked into the contest. They didn't have anyone out, and through she went for a goal.
Amazing, isn't it, how momentum in sport counts for so much, and it's just all St Pat's at the moment. All the little 1%ers are going their way. They're getting their hands on the ball first, more often, and a little bit cleaner.
They certainly are, as Will Campbell picks it up. That's better play from Hutchins as comes out to Williamson. That's the run that got them into this grand final, Duff. They moved the ball so well throughout the season, and on that particular occasion it's gone out of bounds, but that's what they haven't had the opportunity to do yet, because St Pat's have shut them down. Every opportunity that Hutchins have picked the ball up, A, they've had a St Pat's boy in their face, and B, they've had that pressure on where they've fumbled.
Well, you'd know, Andrew, you're the super coach, but I won't go on about that.
Oh, please do, Duff. There's no trouble at all.
We'll talk about that later on.
As that ball comes over, and St Pat's yet again, it's towards the centre half forward. Denduang might have thought he might have tried to pick that one up, but tried to spoil a big opportunity now as Young picks the ball up. Young's driving that through. It's very close. I think it might have slipped inside the goals, and it has done. They've kicked another one, St Pat's. It is raining goals here at the War Memorial Oval, Duff.
Gee, Andrew, that looked like a behind to me.
Just slipped in, Duff, as we see the slow-mo. It's just on that inside because our camera's just over it, and through she sails. Gee whiz, they are certainly playing a very, very good brand of football here, Duff. And it's 32-2, and dear oh dear, I think this game is going to be out of reach if Hutchins just can't get their dukes on the footy and just answer. As they pick the ball up, that is that pressure yet again. Brilliant work by the skipper. That's rising goes the short pass. It's a little bit wide as Allen let out, but they are certainly growing a leg here. Brilliant work there as we see, picking up the ball, about to get the kick away and pulled back with the tackle. Awesome football. There is no doubt about that. 30
points up. What a great start for St Pat's. And can Hutchins just get the ball down there and just repel this and just get a goal on the board going into quarter time?
Well, I've always said this, Duff. You can't win a game in the first quarter. Conversely, you can lose a game in the first quarter because Hutchins now, all of a sudden, their confidence would be waning slightly. They haven't been in this position all season, so this will be a really, really good test of their mental strength and their capabilities as Morgan picks that ball up, but they're behind on this particular occasion, and St Pat's take a very, very comfortable mark, and they're going to repel what was one of the very, very few Hutchins attacks in this first quarter. As nicely worked there by Hay. Hay just driving it back out to that outer side, but Murfitt picks it up. Murfitt driving the ball back into that forward line, sliding over, which then effectively takes him out of the contest is the Hutchins player. And the umpire has called the ball, and it is yet again, Duff, in that familiar position, that is the St Pat's forward line. Ball goes up now, the ruckman face off. It's a nice tap out by Lee. Lee yet again couldn't tap it to anyone in particular, and he's gone in hard to get the ball, and I think he's being claimed over the shoulder, and he's going to go back, the big man, and have another shot on goal for St Pat's. Well, there are already 5 goals. As we see the slow-mo, he got down, it was slightly in his back, and you can see there, that was the kick. And I think that was Kearney who just put that right arm over. So, a shot on goal, very deliberate now. All the shots have been on the run, and they're just taking their time, hands down. Lovely looking deliberate kick on goal. The umpire has not moved a millimetre, straight over the top of his head, and he has put that one through for a magnificent goal. And St Pat's, well, Duff, I'm just not sure what to say next, because they have really come out of the gates. They're firing, they've got fire out of the nostrils, and they are playing the much better football, and Hutchins are looking somewhat despondent.
It's a bit like one of those grand finals in the old AFL, VFL in the 80s or 90s. Remember, it was all one-sided, and you'd sit there at quarter time with your beer and your mates, and you'd be thinking, another one of these. It's all one-way traffic, Andrew.
It certainly is, as the ball comes out, and there is that pressure again, and it's over the line and out of bounds, and we're deep into the first quarter down here at the Hutchins Oval.
One team is up and about, and the other is asleep, Andrew.
Yes, and they certainly need to roar soon to the Lions down here at Hutchins, as that's well picked up by Tyson. Tyson in towards that open goal. It's end over end, and it's through for the minor score.
Now, we have a number 24. It's come up to us. Thank you for that. Young boy has brought up the number. We have number 24 in the ruck. It is Lee Ding Yamini. Ding Yamini. We'll go with that, Hoppy.
Ding Yamini, and I tell you what, Duff, he's a very good athletic-looking fellow, and he's got a few nice taps. And he's sort of got to get a few more, because Hutchins have just got to get their hands on the footy first, as fighting hard for the ball was Franklin. And he didn't. Did he get the free kick? No, he didn't. But it was well played by him. They need someone to just give them a lift, just to show some leadership, to say, come with me, boys, drag along with you, just to get a score, just to get some sense of a good play. But it is all St Pat's at the moment. That was a nice smother by the Hutchins boys. It comes back out towards the centre half forward position. And most of the boys are in that forward 50 arc, as Campbell was all wrapped up on this particular occasion. And it's going to be a ball up. You can see the 50-metre line there as the ruckman face off, and that was Lee, who got the tap out now, and it goes forward. Franklin picks it up, but he has had nowhere at all to go. Hutchins just trying to bludgeon that ball off the ground. They're not even trying to pick it up on this particular occasion, but it's Campbell who tries to swing and push that ball forward, but he can't do so. Franklin moving towards the ball, picks it up. He's taken a little bit too high, and I believe that's he's still down. And they're going to come in and get the free kick.
Big Bluey coming in there. Pat's really showing his bulk. Let's have a look at this one, Hoppy.
Yep, there it is, a swinging arm, and Franklin copped one across the chops, and here we'll get that. By gee, it was a lot of vigour shown there by Johnson.
Yes.
And the ball comes out towards the wing position. St Pat's, they go on the ball again. It's Kilali gets that handball across. Man under pressure is Walker with a very nice tackle by Johnson. He's all wrapped up, and that's the sort of lift that they need from Hutchins. They need a spark. It could be a tackle, it could be a run, and that's a 50-metre penalty. That was Dylan Johnson again. I had mentioned that vigor before, Duff, but that was just stupidity. There was no need for that. They had the free, and he's given away 50. When you're this far in front, Duff, you've got the foot on the throat, and they're on the ground. You don't want to let the opposition up. Give them an easy goal.
Must be the shortest 50 in history, I'd say there, Hoppy. That was about 35. But anyway, here's a chance. And
that was well picked up there.
Left it come, was it? The number 12. Yep, we're still looking for a name on number 12. We'll work on that as well.
There was a snap just across the goal there, Duff, that went awry, and Hutchins now move on to those three behinds. But St Pat's, that has been all St Pat's now in this first quarter as the siren has gone. Well, we're going to take a breath here, but it's been a fantastic start by St Pat's. They've certainly come out there. I reckon they must have had some special juice at Campbell down on the way down, Duff, but they are up and about and firing and representing their school with great vigour, and we'll be looking forward to the second quarter very shortly.
Yeah, we can just see Nat Franklin just getting the boys in there before the coaches come out. And what do you think he might be saying there, Hoppy? Just saying, come on, boys, let's just get our mindset right here, because it's not there at the moment. What do you think?
Yeah, certainly would think so, Duff. They just need to show a little bit more spirit, but they'll be back in the second quarter. Welcome back to the second quarter as we alluded to, St Pat's are on fire. They have 6 goals, and the impressive thing about that, they have 6 goal kickers. And we went down to the huddles, and Coach Cleaver is really happy with how the boys have started off. He couldn't have wished for a better start, where conversely, Coach Palferman just had to be calm and say to the boys, we've just got to work our way back into this. Let's don't panic. We know that we've been good all season, and we just get our dukes on the footy. One thing will build into another, and whatever we do, just don't panic and believe. Just believe.
You've just got to put that first quarter behind you if you're a Hutchins supporter or player, Hoppy.
There's nothing you can do about it now. It's gone and done and dusted. So it's a matter of pushing on from here. But I tell you what, Duff, this team here, St Pat's have got something to say about as they drive that ball through it through the agency of Rising. But picking it up now is Hutchins. They just need to get a little bit of drive and a bit of lift as that ball comes out towards the wing position. Watching it very closely was Bryant. He couldn't quite pick the ball up, and yet again St Pat's, through vigour and determination, drive that ball forward. They're fighting pretty hard over the ball as Stowe is there trying to get the ball. He can't get it out, and the umpire has called for it, and it'll be a ball up.
And here he is, the number 24, and the correct pronunciation is Dingyamani. Dingyamani.
Dingyamani, very good athletic-looking type. And by gee, they'd like, if it be him or anyone, just to get their dukes on the ball and give them a lift, as it's pretty close toward the goal, and St Pat's goal. Do you think that breeze has got up at all, Duff? It seems like it's just slightly favouring one end, don't you?
Just going to the right of screen a little bit, but looks like the rain may be stopping, although it hasn't been that hard or heavy at the moment. Let's hope it just becomes a nice dry day, as this says Lockie Allen hasn't had much of the ball, one of the younger players, and playing up a few levels here, Hoppy. Good player.
Certainly is, as Allen drove that ball forward, looking for the lead out from Berryman. But now coming back standing underneath the ball, there is the man, Dingyamani, and he'll take the free kick, but they take advantage, and the skipper, Campbell, decides to just move that ball on at all costs. Nicely screwed around by Berryman, and back there towards their forward, but chipping in, taking a terrific mark, is Murfitt. He just pushed his player aside, and they're all talking of pushing aside. I think that one was in the back as Kearney came out towards the ball and certainly got right in the middle of the back, and Hawksley will take the free kick right underneath the commentary tower.
Yeah, right in front of us, Hoppy. Now, just on school footy, isn't it fantastic that it's up and about? But we'd love to see a couple more of the southern schools get involved, don't you think?
Oh, it certainly would be tremendous. I know that there's a proud lineage out at St Virgil's, but the challenge with them, of course, Duff, only goes to grade 10, so whether the Guildford would have that same sense of school or pride, that's another thing. Friends aren't particularly strong in the footy caper, but yeah, it would be good to get a few more involved, Duff. There is no doubt about that, as that ball comes out now as Murfitt marks it, and he's going to be paid the kick and going back. Yeah, of course, when you and I were at school, Duff, we always played with our school with great pride on the Saturday morning, and then you'd front up yet again on the Sunday comp.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yes, here we go, St Pat's building once again. All St Pat's in this game so far.
Certainly is, as Young just pushes that ball into that dangerous area, as Campbell's fighting very hard to try and keep them at bay yet again. But it's weight of numbers as they screw that ball back into the dangerous area. It's Will Hay who's in front and he'll be paid the mark. It's Campbell who just picks it up and bludgeons it out. Maybe he might have just taken his time, I think. Sliding in and taking out the feet. That's Murphy Cowan. That's dangerous play,
That's very dangerous play, and that was one of the rule changes, which was a ripper by the AFL. He needs to be very careful of that.
Yeah, there's ways where you can get up and about, Duff. You've got to show some vigour, but the vigour needs to be shown at the footy.
Yeah,
there is no doubt about that.
We don't want to see anybody get hurt.
And with that's lovely play. Big Murphy Cowan goes in again. That's what they need from him, Duff, is to pick the big ball up and then drive it forward, as he has done on this occasion. But they're not picking up their man at all.
This is where they're falling down over half forward. It looks like Murphy Cowan's come down the ground, Andrew.
There's a little bit of too much looking around at the moment by the Hutchins boys. Correct me if I'm wrong, Duff, but basically there's 18 on 18 and they're just running harder. Yeah. They're creating the space at the moment. Anyway, we're in the second quarter now. Still a long way to go, but they've some work to be done by the Hutchins boys as Young drove that down, and it's Green picking it up for Hutchins. Opportunity for them, but they've got the numbers. Well played there
The number 12.
By our very dear friend, number 12. It's very close to the line. I think he's been tripped here, Duff, and will take the free kick. Inside the 50 from one of the few times. That's a great effort to mark, and I think that's Murphy Cohen. He's been paid the mark. Excellent work getting the front position, and we'll go back on a set shot for goal. And normally pretty good set shot, Duff.
Yeah, the champ, he's just come out there. One of my favourites players. He's a love a good full forward, and this boy is one of the better ones in the state going around. He's just got the big bulk, hasn't he? You know, the big body, and very, very strong in the core. And Hoppy, he's got one of the best kicks going around, this boy.
Very deliberate set shot on goal. There's the 50, so he's going to kick from sort of 35. Just coming in nice and gently, very relaxed. Kicks through the ball. His first shot went a little bit to the right, but I think on this occasion he has put that through. And that will give the Hutchins boys some belief. They said, come on, we can do it. Let's be up and about and get in this game. I think it was...
he loves a bit of theatre, doesn't he, the young lad?
I think Lockie Young was just going over, reminding him, Duff, that was his first goal. And we've already got a lazy 6 on the scoreboard.
But they haven't kicked one in this second quarter, so the Hutchins boys will be happy about that. Gets it back to 30 points.
Yep, that's all it is. One peg 'em back, one at a time. Brilliant work there. Arching the back and just running off is the skipper Rising, and he just showed a clean pair of heels down to that forward line. Hutchins now picking it up, going across the goal, out towards Franklin. Franklin driving it further afield out to the wing. Oh, they got some space over the back here as it falls towards Williamson. He's wrapped up in the tackle, and he's told him as well, Duff, Lukey Williams. He said, how was that?
Well, I must disagree with that decision, Andrew. It was a good tackle, but he did get a late handball, and personally I think it was play on.
Well, that's the way they've probably played it so far through the day, as Tucker picked the ball up. He tries to move it on, but the tackling yet again is a feature, and the umpire there was very keen to blow the whistle, Duff, as he didn't quite get the opportunity as it went close to the line. Now it's Campbell. Campbell gets on his trusted left foot. Cohen coming out. Murphy Cohen picks it up. He swings around, gets the handball out to that open side towards Bryant. Bryant in towards the goals. It's skidding and hits the point post, and will be a boundary throw, and that's probably a better result for Hutchins now.
They're out and about now, Hutchins, but young Bryant just did not have the left foot. That is something that he needs to work on. He just had to swing around onto the right, and unfortunately he got caught and it went across the boundary line.
Well, they've been very good.
No, I'm big on that, Andrew. I'm big on being able to play on both sides of your body. You've got to be able to do it.
You certainly do, and that was interesting stoppage there, Duff, that St Pat's got 4 of their goals from stoppages in similar position, and St Pat's were able to ruck that ball down to the front, whereas before Hutchins needed to tap it over the back to get some space, but they weren't allowed to, and they're just not being allowed to play in the normal manner of which they're accustomed to.
Yep, well, we've seen more of these boys than myself, and definitely they're not quite up and about, but this last few minutes they're sort of just starting to get themselves back into general play quite well.
Campbell just slamming on. He's trying to lift his team. He's trying to bring them with him. And on this occasion, it's just slipped across to that right-hand side and out of bounds. It's a great complex here, Duff, isn't it?
Great view. Fantastic little arena. It's a little bit like North Hobart, where you're right over it, and it's just got a great atmosphere about it.
Well, you feel a sense you're actually on the ground with the players, isn't it? That's what I like about it. Like you said, Duff, like the great North Hobart Oval, there's a good sense of when you're playing and also when you're watching it. As Hutchins picked the ball up. Not a lot of system into their forward thrusts just yet, but when they have gone in with a bit of system, they've had one out. Murphy Cohen's looked likely as it's picked up and driven towards the goal, and it's just off there and hit to the post by our mystery man.
Our mystery man. We do apologise, ladies and gentlemen, trying to get a name on this boy. Of course, we don't see them every week like we do in the club footy, but he's certainly actually playing very well, that lad.
St Pat's driving the ball out, and that was a very, very nice mark. The man in front was Jared Thomas. Thomas now looks somewhat resplendent, Duff, in those green and yellow or green and gold stripes. It's a wonderful Guernsey.
It is a good Guernsey, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it. And of course, very much the traditional Hutchins Guernsey. How do you see that one, Duff?
Yeah, no, don't mind it as well. Goes well.
Okay, it's right on the side. I think it might have gone out, and it certainly has. So Franklin, no, it's Den DeWang will take it. What's a bit of confusion here? I think it might have been touched. Yep, that's the way the umpire's seen it. It's touched, so the boundary throw in. In she comes. The ruckman go up. That was Nicholson to get the tap out. They're fighting hard for the ball. Lovely pick up and getting out to the running player. This is where they've been dominant as Young, driving the ball in towards their 50 arc yet again. The big man in defence, that's Spiro Douglas, gets that handball out there under. Every single time they go toward the ball, they are really under enormous pressure as a little kick comes out to the side of the boot, and chopping that one off is Josh Williamson. Williamson now goes further afield. That's better play by Hutchins. That's one of the first times they've really let up the ground up into some space, and they've had a big opportunity as a lovely spoil yet again in the defensive area by Young. He's been good both ends of the ground.
Yeah, it was good build up there by Hutchins, but it was just a bit of a low percentage pass out towards the boundary line to a 2-on-1. It had to be precise, Hoppy, and it wasn't quite.
Maybe just so they're trying to, as you can see in the background there, Duff, they're trying to isolate Murphy Cohen. So just try and kick it out in front of him, not to him, is what I would suggest. Just kick it to the favour of the side he's standing on against his player and let him run onto the ball. He does that, and you know, Duff, you've seen a lot of him. That's where he's very, very good, as Campbell is pulled back. And this man is really trying to pull his team back into the game, Bluey Campbell from half-back, Duff.
Yeah, good nuggety sort of half-back player, and he's up and about in the second quarter. Can they get another goal on the board? They really need one, because they've definitely got the momentum switch sort of coming back their way at the moment.
Well, they have, Duff, and they've stopped the play. Excuse me, they've stopped St Pat's from scoring. They've scored this, they haven't scored.
Yep, they haven't scored.
So that's a really, really good and strong positive thing. They've edged that one goal through. If they can eke another one out, there'll really be some systems and belief come up with the Hutchins boys, as we're just waiting for the boundary throw in. That's Berryman who faces off. He tries to get that tap out. Very creative play by the Hutchins boys as they just try and get it back in. Yet again, try and work to the space if they can. They're in numbers though, as Samet pushes that ball back out, and it is Johnson. Johnson driving it back out of that danger area, and they've got a few millimetres on their man as Young takes the mark. Young driving it back up towards the strong fella there in Allen, who can't quite take the ball. Oh, and they're just sliding over there, but that was great play by Young. They've got some numbers now, but they yet again just slipped over that ball as Hutchins gets out to Den Wang, who drives it now up, but they're playing from yet from behind. They've got to stop that kick in like that. Just kick to open space. Just try something different.
Yeah, it looks like Lockie Allen's playing up at centre half forward, and as I said before, he's playing a cup up as I think a 15-year-old up against 17 and 18-year-olds, and I've got to say he's just looking a little bit out of sorts at the moment, young Lockie.
Carlson takes a very, very nice mark. He's on the wing position, and he is going to drive St Pat's back into that forward line. There's plenty of players there. Best of luck to mark that one as the big fist comes out. Hutchins are at the fall of the ball. They've got numbers. They go a handball, but yet again they'll handball to pressure. They're trying to get it out. That was well wrapped up by Murphy, and the ball spills over the back. And every time it spills out to open space, St Pat's have the numbers. They're playing it really cleverly. They're always dropping someone out off the back. So whereas Hutchins, they're showing good intent, but they're all being sucked into the ball, Duff.
And that one just kick on goal there. You're right, Hoppy. It's just out in the full, so very, very lucky there for Hutchins. So St Pat's still haven't scored in the second quarter, but their pressure has been right up there like they were in the first quarter. I'm sure their coach will be very, very happy.
Certainly is. Holding at bay, so a very handy 29-point lead here in the second quarter as a line turn out of trouble by Lukey Williams, driving that ball forward. Man in front, oh, he was poleaxed there, but didn't get a free kick as Allen just taps the ball out to his vantage. And Campbell, he's playing this game very nicely across half-back flank, leading from the front, and it's going to be a ball in. Just improving ever so slightly here, Duff, the conditions. Still going to be a pretty slippery ball right throughout the game, I would have thought, as a snap comes over the back. Hutchins leading towards the ball, but it evades them and goes out, because it's a wonderful area down here, Duff. We've got the University of Tasmania just below us, so all the sporting grounds and the great vistas of the River Derwent.
Yep, and Queenborough Oval just down the road as well. So Hutchins on the last line of defence here. They're going to try and clear the ball, but it's going to be St Pat's again bringing it inboard.
Oh, brilliant work there, Duff. He could have really blazed away, and Jared Thomas made good space. And every time they've got the ball, they've got their eyes up and they're looking to kick it. Whereas probably Hutchins have had the ball from their half back and they've been under pressure and just sort of slammed it out of their defensive area with not a great deal of system at this particular point in the game. Okay, so we're going to have a look now as Jared Thomas lining up. Very deliberate. He strikes it pretty nicely. It's going closely. It's got the distance, but just pushes it a little bit to the right.
I think that's the Commodore of the Sandy Bay Sailing Club down there, Nick Connor in the background. G'day to Nick.
Gee whiz.
You've got to give your mates a plug, Hop, if you get the opportunity.
I know you move in those lofty circles, don't you, Duff, in the sailing fraternity?
My boys just started up this year, but I can't say I know that much about it. Good sport, though.
Certainly is. As we can see now, we've got a bit of a shadow out here as that sun's trying to peep its way forward as the open forward line didn't work out. As Killarney there picked that ball up brilliantly for St Pat's across half back. Everyone is just doing their job so well as Hutchins trying to drive the ball forward. It's Murphy Cohen running towards the ball. He can't pick it up on this occasion, and it is through for another minor score to the Hutchins as some of the younger kiddies are getting ready for half time to come out and have a game. It's a great carnival atmosphere here. There's a lot of people who have gone to these two very, very proud schools for over the years have come to support them. It is school footy at the highest capabilities. It is Hutchins versus St Pat. It is the grand final for 2014. So now a boundary throw in as the ruckman try and jockey for position. Lee gets the tap back over. No one can actually pick that ball up. Yeah, still fighting very, very, very hard now. 40-11. St Pat's, of course, just came out and exploded very, very early on. And Hutchins still haven't got their normal run and carry game together yet. Franklin, one of the prime movers for them for the year, picks that ball up and in an attempt to let them go forward, but it's Murfitt now. Murfitt gets it back over. Great tackle there by Franklin, and it's Thomas where it spills to. It's really tight, and that's the sort of thing they need. That's the fillip that they need as Franklin takes that ball. He's only slight, but by gee, he shows good intent. There, oh, that was a big, tough tackle coming in there. I think that was O'Keefe just throwing his body around, but the man over the ball holding his ground, I think that was Hawksley, will take the free kick. Nice work by him, comes out towards Murfitt. Murfitt just sizing up his options. He decides to go down the line. Lovely spoil there by Hutchins. Comes out to St Pat's, almost tackled a little bit too high, had nowhere else to go. That was unfortunate, but the free kick was there, and Hawksley will take the free kick. As we look over there on that interchange bench, the St Pat's boys, they're ringing the changes, and so they've got fresh legs coming on all the time as they drive in towards the forward line. Man standing his ground there is Matthew Allen. Oh, he's been deemed to be just pushing the man out. Bad luck on that particular occasion. So a free kick there to Hutchins. They drive it back out towards the wing. Comes over towards the back now, but yet again the numbers are with St Pat's as they just drive it back towards the centre of the ground. They were very explosive in the first quarter and getting lots of scoreboard pressure, but in the second quarter they're still hanging in there. It's a nice tackle, and the reward will come back down to St Pat's. Drive back in towards the middle. Franklin jumps up and takes a very nice mark. He drives it out wide. It just comes off the side of his boot because it's a very, very slippery ball. Chipping in now is Johnson. Johnson, who got a goal in that first quarter, just squares the shoulders up and drives St Pat's in. That's brilliant work there. He's not going to take that one off him. Matthew Allen just stood his ground where the pack fell away from him. He put the arms up, as we see in replay, as Johnson picked the ball up. A very, very direct kick towards the goal, standing his ground, going back and taking a very, very strong mark. All right now, so St Pat's, they would love to get that goal back. As we're right behind him, he kicks it towards the goal. It's swinging back in and then just straightened up and just evades that goalpost. And Allen has put it through for a minor score. Well, there's been a bit of a lull in the scoring in this second quarter, but certainly, excuse me, it's given Hutchins a lot to work with because they've repelled a lot of these attacks, and it's like an arm wrestle in this particular quarter. They're fighting really hard as Thomas, he picks the ball up, drives St Pat's towards the goal, but backing back yet again is the skipper, Will Campbell, and he takes a very nice mark on the last line of defence. He chips that ball out. They need some clean hands here. They can't find it. Just hold the ball, but every time Hutchins picks it up, there is St Pat's players really corralling them. Campbell, he fights hard. He doesn't wait. Tries to get the ball moving out towards this outer side toward Williamson, and Williamson quickly runs off his mark. Right down towards the commentary area as they come out. Lovely spoil. It goes close to the boundary line, and talking about close, it's certainly getting close towards the end of the second quarter. It's St Pat's 41, Hutchins 11. And a boundary throw in right underneath the commentary area. It's a tap out there by Lee. It comes over the back, and it's really nice to see that sun shining. Oh, they got the numbers now, even got the numbers back. If I were Hutchins, I'd do a head count as Franklin comes out. Brilliant work by him. Great pickup. Oh, on this occasion, almost a lovely smother there too. They're certainly up and about as they've picked up that ball. It goes back towards the forward line. Murphy comes out with strings. He hooks it back towards the goal. It was going close and touched right on the last line of defence. And terrific defensive work there by the St Pat's 18. They are just playing great footy, St Pat's. They're playing for each other. They're playing for their school. There is no doubt about that as the ball comes over the centre of play. It's Campbell who yet again picks that one up. He gives the give and go now. Another fumble, but they're good enough to pick it up and go forward now. Hutchins are coming out. They are in front of the ball, but going back now is Johnson. Johnson, it's held to him, and it's going to be a ball up. So, yet again, it's in the St Pat's forward line. Lovely tap out by the big ruckman there is Berryman. It's picked up by St Pat's, and they're driving it into their forward 50. Sprinting out there is Douglas, who just bludgeons that ball out. He just didn't want to see it come back inside their 50, and it's Denduang now picks it up. Now there's a bit of an opportunity for some run. Comes out towards Green. Green now. Move the ball, up they go. A lovely big spoil, and the big man is up and over the top. Working hard, and that's brilliant work there by Tucker, and he gets the ball out towards the scoreboard zone. A little play there by Murfitt. Murfitt comes back inside towards Young, and Young just takes that steadying mark. Young now driving him back inside the 50. The big man trying to get that is Allen. He can't do so, but he puts the pressure on. Hutchins now trying to get some run off the half-back flank, but this kick has been the one that's let them down. And yet again, St Pat's are mopping up across half-back flank as the ball comes towards the boundary line, and it'll go over. We can take our breath as it'll be a boundary throw in.
Hoppy number 12, Jack Bastick. How could we not know that? The Sandy Bay player. Hey?
Thank you very much for that, Duff, as it was Bastick, and Bastick is playing one of the better players for Hutchins too. He's been very, very good, but he just needs a few more mates to come along for the ride.
Yeah, he's looking very promising over half forward. He's kicked a couple of behinds, but yeah, playing a very good game. So
Bastick's playing really well. Will Campbell's been just tremendous down there. Denduang's getting a little bit of the ball, and Franklin is also trying to give them driver. But if we look back at St Pat stuff, we can just go through the whole team there. Everyone is doing something.
Yeah.
There is no doubt about that. It's been a fantastic team effort. Every time they've got the ball, they've really put the accelerator on. They're all showing two pace. They're looking at each other. Their hand passes have been they've been creative, not defensive, and they've brought each other into the game. Their shepherds, their blocks, everything they're doing. Like on that particular occasion, the handball out to space. Yep. Whereas Hutchins are handballing it to a man who's only a few metres apart, and then the pressure is put directly onto him as the ball is screwed back by Sammy Lee, and it is over the line. As certainly the weather's improving. Hutchins, it is an arm wrestle in this particular quarter, but the good thing is that St Pat's, they've kept them goalless, stuff, and so that is a really good positive to work on.
Yep, I think just the two behinds to St Pat's and the one goal to Hutchins, but for all this hard work, Hutchins just really need another one or two going into half time.
So the umpire, it's been great umpiring too. We must say that where credit is due. They're doing a fantastic job now, and that's beautifully roved there by Carlson. Drives it around the corner, and that was Tucker going up for the ball. and I think he might have been impeded with, and he'll certainly take the free kick. Tucker now just looking to go forward, and he goes that drop punt. Just a lovely lead up. Brilliant work here, and I've loved the work of Connor Young. He certainly looks likely as Young came out and showed a very, very... look at this lead here, Duff.
He's got a lot of Aaron Cornelius about him.
He has too.
Slight, very confident, very good footballer.
All right now, so right on half-time, let's have a look at the kicking style of Connor Young. Certainly Hutchins don't want this as Young goes back. He leans to the right and it's through for the minor score. That'll certainly help the old Lions. So it's half-time here in the grand final for the 2014 SATIS Independent Schools Grand Final. It is St Pat's 42, Hutchins 12.
So they go in there at Hutchins with a little bit more confidence. They sort of pegged back the lead by a few points in the end. Just the one goal to them. That was the only goal of the game, of that quarter. But still a lot of work to do there, Andrew. The momentum still, though, is with St Pat's as the boys go into the sheds at half-time.
They certainly do. So we'll be back with the third quarter. We see these boys, they'll go in, they'll refuel and be back out. There is no doubt about that. So I hope you're enjoying the game. We're really enjoying bringing it to you. It's been high-class footy. The grand final, there it is, 6-6-42 to 1-6-12 at half-time. The third quarter is always the moving quarter, the championship quarter. This is the one that is very, very important for the Hutchins team here. They need to get a little bit of a wriggle on. They need to peg at least, say, 3 goals back, I think, Duff.
Oh, definitely. We were saying there at half-time, Hoppy, they tried hard in that second quarter, but really only, got it back to 30 points. They just needed to kick a couple of goals in a row. Did hint, I thought, a few times in that second quarter with a little bit of momentum going their way, but just not enough scoreboard pressure.
Scoreboard pressure is the issue there, Duff, because it was 1-6, so 7 shots to 6-6, which is 12. So not a huge difference there, no. Duff, but they, if they could have got a few more in the positive side than the negative, it would be a totally different scenario. As I think that might have been a free kick paid back here, and it would be... Is it a free kick? It certainly was. Dingyamini will take that free kick, and he kicks the ball out towards that outer side as Johnson picks it up, gets the handball on. It's really a lot brighter now, much better conditions to be playing footy. As you can see, the Hutchins bench just trying to show some encouragement, get a little bit of enthusiasm into the game there, Duff, as the boundary umpire throws it in. A lovely tap out by Dingyamini yet again, but only as far as the St Pat's boys, as Young, he leading out. Handball back in towards Campbell. He won't give an inch as he's fighting very hard to try and pull him in, but weight of numbers is with St Pat's as they drive the ball forward. It is Allen first to the ball. Goes the creative handball back over the tap. They've got a bit of time and space here as they just can't get away. It's a nice tackle. Brilliant work there by St Pat's going back the other way. That was a good evasive work by Tucker. But Hutchins on this occasion really shut their men down. They corralled them as Campbell pushes that ball out, and that was a much better defensive work by the Hutchins Lions there, Duff.
It was, but you always get the sense that they're always under pressure and that the St Pat's boys are just not giving them an inch here, Andrew.
No, they certainly are. They're closing down every time that Hutchins picked the ball up. They're right into their faces. There's no doubt about that. As the St Pat's going forward yet again, it comes over, but well picked up by the defensive work, and has been all the time. They just quickly get it out as Franklin picks the ball up. He runs back inside with a very direct kick back down to that forward area. The man-on-man, though, they're manning them up very nicely down in the defensive area. They're not allowing any forward space at all. And they've got that extra man loose across half-back and just filling in the spaces. St Pat's. Brilliant tackle there. That's holding the ball.
Their tackling has been just excellent the whole day, right from the first bounce, and they're up and about again in this third quarter.
So Rising takes that free kick, gets it back out towards Johnson. We know he's got a fair bit of pace. Oh, he's like a bulldozer there. He's dropped the head, nowhere to go, and holding the ball. He knew time was up there, Duff.
Yeah,
he just put the hands up to say, well, I know that, ump. He had the opportunity to kick, but when he came back inside, he didn't realise there was another Hutchins player there to stop him.
Yep.
Oh dear, and so now that ball comes back out towards Young. No damage is done for St Pat's as they're going forward again. Young driving it back down But coming over is the skipper, and Will Campbell knocks that one out, and it'll be a boundary throw-in. Very big crowd. There's plenty in the social club area too, Duff.
Oh, yep, they're behind us, just sipping on their
Chardonnay stuff?
No, orange juice at the junior footy. Don't worry about that.
Well, some of these young men, of course, would have driven their cars down here, Duff. They're up and about in up to grade 12, so they could be 18 years of age.
Yes, a few P-platers down the road as we drove in, we did see.
Okay, so that was a nice tap out by Lee. He's been really good in the ruck. He's been giving first use to some of the rovers like your Carlsons of the world for St Pat's.
So what do you think St Pat's will do in this quarter? Just sort of lock it down, do you think?
I don't think it's in their nature, Duff. The way they've been playing, they've been really creative and open. And if I was their coach, but I'm not, but if I was Coach Cleaver, I'd be saying, boys, just give me more of the same. There is no doubt about that. They've done everything right so far. As Murphy Cohen, he's a long way out. He's driving it back. He's kicked that one from well downtown, and it's just gone about the post from 55 out, Duff, and gee whiz. If just one or two of those have just been able to go in, but hasn't been the case today. And it is Young picking that ball up. Young goes out wide, and leading that one in is Sammy Lee. Lee now, short kick.
Geez, good discipline footy, bringing it back in board.
See the numbers here yet again. St Pat are really fighting hard through the agency of Allen. He's tackling and bullocking, and then one of other teammates will come in and assist as well as Murphy is first to the ball. Comes back over towards Lee. Lee is well smothered by Hutchins. Comes out now towards Campbell. Campbell picks it up. Now's a big chance. Drives that towards Murphy Cohen. He's already played on now. He has to push. Gives the don't argue. He's got a couple in front. Oh, he's just evading one after another. That one hasn't gone the 15. So he puts Green under a bit of pressure. Green drives it back, and they've marked that one. 35 out. And that is Jackie Bastick, and he's been taken back 50, Duff. So he's going to be kicking right from the line. So Jack Bastick can get the Hutchins team up and about in the third quarter. We see him pushed after he took the mark, and 50 metres.
Yep, good umpiring there. And he goes the high five the defender there for St Pat's who have nothing of that. So, what's that now, Hoppy? 23 points. Right back in the game, Hutchins, but they need that next goal.
I certainly do. 2-7. As certainly it was great to see some of their prime movers like your Bastics there, but picked up now by Allen from the boundary. Oh my goodness gracious me! I wasn't even thinking he was going to call that one. And like a dagger through the heart, just when we saw that Hutchins were going to be up and about, the big man, Matthew Allen, picked that ball up on the boundary line, and they've answered this within the veritable blink of an eye, Duff. And have a look at this. I don't even know if he's having a shot at goal. He's just screwed it around. The ball's gone from right to left, Murali Deeren style, and slipped it through for a sausage. St Pat's, what a quick answer that was.
What an answer. He's an absolute champ down there, Matty Allen. I did mention him before the game, and big raps on him coming into this match. And what an answer, Hoppy. Straight away out of the centre. Goal, and it's, what is it, back to 29 points.
That is the sign of a very, very good team, Duff. Your Hawthorns of the world in this type of era, that's the sort of thing they do. They just don't allow a team to get a run on.
The Carltons.
Well, the Carltons of the yester era, Duff, back when I had colour in my hair and they used to run around all right, didn't they? Used to put the clamps on. But that is fantastic work. And just as Hutchins thought, yep, we're a chance now, we've got that goal, didn't they fire back, and they've gone back into attack again, and it's rising. The skipper, he drives that one over through, I think it's gone out of bounds. No, it's through for the minor score. They're just checking on this one.
Yep.
Just getting confirmation. But terrific play there by, St Pat's.
Goal of the day.
Without a doubt, goal of the day, Duff. There is no question.
You'd say that was an almost footy legend. Will we send it in, Hop? I think we'll send it in. I'll split the 500 with you, mate. This one.
And the other thing
that was a great call, Hoppy.
That he had to contend with was Allen.
What's going on here?
He was right underneath the Hutchins faithful as well, Duff, so he wouldn't have been getting a lot of encouragement from the crowd. So brilliant work, and it was, in fact, a through for the minor score as they went to the Duff studio just to get the replay to clear that one up. And so now Hutchins will have to fight harder yet again. The big power forward, and Murphy Cohen leads out. But the only challenge there for Hutchins, Duff, if Murphy Cohen's getting the ball on the wing, that means he's not going to be duking it up inside the 50.
That's right. And just one
So
player
that's
for
the
Hutchins.
trade-off.
Definitely number 12, Jackie Bastick, is probably their best player on the ground, just clearing the ball out of the halfback flank there, and Hoppy having a good day out, as in the big ruckman there for Hutchins today.
Yeah, no, Dingyamini is trying to give them first use of the ball. It's Morgan who picked the ball up, but he's beset upon. And same with Johnson. I think he might have been almost taken off. But look at that, Duff. That is the sign of what the day's been like. Every time the last bloke up might be Hutchins, there's 3 St Pat blokes who get off him. That's the sort of pressure they're applying. The tackling has been enormous.
It's been vice-like.
It certainly has been vice-like.
Any other cliches we've got there?
And this will suit St Pat's down to the ground, Duff, because they are not allowing Hutchins to get a run on at all. So it's, another tap out by Dingyamini. Comes out towards fighting hard is Johnson. And it'll be another ball up.
Yep, doing the basics of footy very well, aren't they? Tackling hard, running hard, and when they've gone down forward, they've just kicked some great goals, especially in that first quarter.
Well, the forward line's been open. That's been the difference, I think. Every time it has gone in, they've looked a lot more dangerous, whereas the Hutchins forward thrust has been somewhat static.
Gee, Andrew, you don't just call the players. You've done a bit of coaching in your time, mate.
Well, you can only see what's in front of you, Duff, and you call it as you see it. You know that. As yet again, you can see they're pushing out to his own favour is Murphy, and he's almost pushed in the back there. I think that's the way the old ump has seen it. He wanted the ball more, and he got to the front and centre. Oh, he's seen someone over the back. He's only 30 out. I'd just rather go back and settle down. What was he doing there, Duff? Tried to rush that particular kick and threw for the minor score.
Yeah, so one of the few errors that they've had at kicking on goal. But no, doing the work at the moment, St Pat's, and she's back out to 31 points.
All right, so it falls into the clutches of Hay. Hay just brings them back around as Dingyamini takes that mark.
Looks all right, doesn't he?
Yep.
The African boy, and not sure how long he's been out in Australia for, or you may have been born here, I'm not quite sure. I haven't met the young lad, but tell you what, he's adopted to our game very well. Love to see him playing some club footy, Hoppy.
Indeed.
I reckon the pressure's on him. He's definitely got the ability. Look at that, getting himself in front. He's picked up the game very well, the young fella.
The recruiters will be down here having a bit of a captain cooking, and there's no doubt about that, Duff, as Franklin for Hutchins in the bottom of the pack hands it back to our umpire. Franklin there does well to pick it up and drive the ball forward, and there's that loose man I mentioned before, Duff. So they're manning up the full forward and getting someone just in front to counter that kick that comes in. And I guess at this stage Hutchins have been very predictable on those forward thrusts. But that's a great mark leading out by Berryman. Very strong work by him.
And the male too, is one of the good players, showing a lot of promise there, is Joshy Williamson. Having a good day for Hutchins as well. Where's Joshy plays footy at? Do we know?
Oh, we'll just check on that as Berryman. Now, very deliberate. Big, long kick, raking towards the goals. But yet again, inaccuracy is hurting the Hutchins Lions at this stage of the game. They really need to start pegging them back.
2 goals 8 for the match.
Yep.
Probably says it all, really.
It certainly does, as yet again it is St Pat's. They're front and centre and have the numbers as Young strives to go forward.
Oh, he's my mate.
And Matthew Allen showing great strength against Spiro Douglas, and just pushed him aside like he was a thin man. And I tell you what, Duff, Douglas is a pretty strong hombre himself. As we can see, they're fighting hard, but he just gave him the don't argue. Got him on that side where the ball protected the space and took a lovely mark.
Yeah, very strong through the core, and a beautiful kick for goal. Kicking from about 51 here.
Okay, that's a huge kick. It's going close to the line, but doesn't quite make the distance. Denduang is over the ball, but gets pushed off by weight of numbers for St Pat's. They're trying to just hold that one in. While the ball's down there, of course, there'll be no score from Hutchins. Up they go. It's Lee. Gets that tap out and tries to robe it again. You're going to be careful. Could be deemed in possession at Sammy Lee. Comes over the back towards Johnson. But yet again, they've just got numbers there. Well picked up by Hawksley. He goes back inboard. Beautifully picked up by the skipper. That's Campbell, who gets the handball out to Morgan. Now they're trying to get a little bit of run. That's great play now by Hutchins. They just need a little bit more of this. Is Williamson. He strives to move that one forward, but trying in the back, and brilliant work by Nicholson down back. Nicholson drives them out, and that's where you want your defenders, Duff, just pushing forward and getting in front. And going hard for the ball is Samet. He goes back and gets it again. He goes that drop punt, and lovely work there by Brown. Brown takes the mark and just slowing the play up here. It's 30 points the difference. We're into that third quarter and championship quarter, and it's a fair way back from here for the Lions.
Yeah.
As that's a nice mark taken by Sammy Stowe. And Stowe's going to go back and have a shot on goal.
Yeah, they really don't want to have another goal kicked against them as we edge past the halfway mark of this third quarter. How far are we in, Hoppy? I think our time clock's stopped here, unfortunately, at Duff TV.
All right, I think Stowey's kicked that one hard and low, and he has made no mistake. Brilliant work there. That was a really lovely steadier, and I tell you what, Duff, they will certainly be getting a lot of belief now. Whereas if they thought in the first quarter it was a fluke, they understand now they are in a really good position to take out this grand final.
Yeah, it's just it's got to happen now for the Hutchins boys. They just have not kicked those 2 goals in a row. They've worked really hard since quarter time as they're going to be coming out of the centre here. But they really need to get the ball down there and get a couple of balls or goals on the board.
Certainly do. Hutchins gained the short one. That's good work by Campbell. Campbell, who ran down from half back. I'd like a couple of him out there, Duff.
Yeah, you can see why he's the skipper.
Yeah, he's certainly leading from the front, and that's Bastic. They screw the ball back. Here's a chance to mark it. Oh, just spoiled that one. The big power forward couldn't quite bring it in.
He's gone down for the old fake, hasn't he? Murphy Cohen.
Yes, certainly did on that particular occasion. Just fell out of his clutches, Duff. Ball comes out wide. Lovely spoil by Hay. They're up to butter up as the Lions as they drive the ball forward, and the man in front chipping back. And this is what they've done so well all day. Great play there by Murphy.
Yeah, the defence has been very good, very sound.
Certainly has, and St Pat's, as they've done, every time Hutchins picks it up, they've got mates there to help each other. There's a great smother and a tackle there by Sammy Stowe, who kicked the last goal. It's swinging back in towards the goal, and Stowe's got 2 in a row, and that's magnificent, and they can almost sniff victory from this position, Duff.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what Hutchins have not done. St Pat's 2 quick goals in succession, and just another good team goal. That's been the thing. They've linked up very well, and the team play has been wonderful. Look at that. Just allowed beautifully to just...
The second effort,
itself.
wasn't it?
Yep.
They went for the tackle, and the second effort spilled free, Duff, and as you just said, ran into that goal. So 9-8 to 2-8, 62-20. Wow, St Pat's have come to play.
They certainly have.
In the other games that you've seen them, Duff, have they been this dominant?
Well, actually, I haven't seen them all year, I'll be honest, Hoppy, but all reports is that Hutchins haven't lost a game, so you would have thought they were favourites going into this. But I'm not quite sure what the results were in the other games for St Pat's. Obviously, they played well to get here, so they've backed themselves today, and they just haven't really given Hutchins a sniff.
They certainly haven't, as Johnson gets the handball out wide. That's a good play coming out towards Tucker. Sliding in there, and they're both sliding in with O'Keefe to spoil that one as well. It's Bastic now who has the run on play. Good pick up by him. But yet again, every time Hutchins picked the ball up, there's 3 and 4 players there to just swoop on them, and St Pat's are just really hunting in packs now. Lovely left foot kick, driving it out towards the leading player in Sammy Stowe, who incidentally, Duff, kicked those 2 goals in the last few minutes and is the only multiple goal kicker for St Pat's.
Wow, yeah, they've shared it around nicely. But
brilliant team effort.
It's really at that stage, isn't it, Hoppy, where, you know, it's do or die now for Hutchins, because if they concede another goal here, it's already at the 42 points. If they make it 48, you know, 8 goals going into 3/4 time, you can't win a grand final from there, mate.
Yes, no, it's certainly a long way back, as the ball up will ensure as the umpire has blown his whistle. Carnival-like atmosphere here, and I must admit, St Pat's have really put the crowd on ice. That they've come out to watch their beloved Lions have a run round, Duff. and they just haven't been in the game since the first bounce.
I think you'll find that there's been a few of the St Pat's parents have come down. They've had the bus come down for the boys, and a few carloads. Don't worry about that.
Oh, I understand that Burger Me at Campbelltown was very busy with the egg and bacon rolls and the lattes this morning, Duff.
And of course, Mood Food now is just a wonderful complex, isn't it? Just coming out of Kempton there. That's a great venue.
No doubt about that. The Heritage
which one's your favourite, Andrew?
The Heritage Highway would have been on fire this morning, Duff, as that's a very, very strong tackle. That ball's not going to come out of there. And, well, Duff, of course, I'm sponsored by my very dear friends at Burger Me. They do the best homemade relish in Tasmania. As that handball comes out now, St Pat's are fighting hard for the ball. Comes over end on end, and bursting their way through is Young. Young heads in towards the goal, but he's just sprayed it to the left and through for the minor score.
And where was that place, Andrew, where you rang me up once? You said, Duff, I've just had the worst the worst roll in all my life. It was an egg and bacon, and it was all sauce. It tasted like tomato sauce.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Well, how about this stuff? We're only going to encourage people. Let's just say it was on the Heritage Highway, and it wasn't Burger Me, that's for sure. Oh, look out. Allen slips that around, and Matthew Allen has put it through for a goal. That's his second as well for the quarter, Duff.
Yeah.
He's been very creative on the screw-type shot.
Yeah.
And I just can't see St Pat's getting beaten from this time, Duff.
They won't be beaten from here, mate. They're just up and about, and they've got that man up there, Matty Allen. He's just a real force, isn't he?
What he's done all day, Duff, is just given strength and brought the ball down. And as you can see on that one, though, he brought it down to his own personal benefit, slipped it around, and 69 to 20, Duff. That's a very, very big lead.
What can they do, Hutchins? As Nat Franklin's back on now. Just the word on Nat was that he wasn't going to play in this game, but the Hutchins coaching staff met with AFL Tasmania, who have released him to play for this very special occasion, Andrew. And I think hats off to AFL Tas for allowing the champ to get out there on the park with his mates today as Hutchins have a kick on goal, but it's out in the full. What did you think about that? Because Nat's away next week in the under-16s.
Yeah, so we've got the under-16 state team going away, and we've also got our Mariners, of course, in Melbourne. So we'll be missing a few players.
Yep.
There's no doubt about that.
So Nat's been, the deal has been 5 minutes on, 5 minutes off.
Just to save the legs, because it's a very big week for him and Tasmania as they go away, Duff, and it's a pretty hard week in front of them. So you want to preserve some of that energy as St Pat's just trying to bumble the ball in front, and well picked up in the last line of defence by Hutchins, and they just drive that ball out towards the wing position. I've loved the way Nicholson's played in this quarter, Duff. He's a good height sort of a fella, runs well, and a lovely left foot kick. You know, he's driven the ball well from that half-back flank, and I tell you what, Carlson is up and about too. He's certainly thrown a little bit of weight around, just making sure Hutchins know they're playing the mighty St Pat's College.
Yes, they've played very well, and asserted their physical presence on the Hutchins boys very well as we edge towards three-quarter time. 49 points. They need a couple of very quick goals, Hutchins, otherwise it's game over.
Dignami gets that tap out down towards Bastic, and we've been calling those sort of same players, I think, Duff, because they just haven't had the numbers here today. But anything can happen in footy. There's 4 quarters, and if you get a run on, momentum can still swing one way or the other as St Pat's get the handball back over the top. Desperation stakes there as coming across with Johnson and slips it out for a boundary throw in. Right to the underneath the social club here at Hutchins.
Got about 3 minutes to go in this quarter, Hop.
So very deep into that third quarter. Good play there by Brown as he tries to, excuse me, get that ball forward again. Nice pick up, comes out towards Franklin. Franklin goes on the left foot, drives it down towards the wing. It's very close to the line. Lovely mark. I'm not sure if it's come in or not. It was a great effort to mark though, Duff. All the same by Green. It looked to me like it was out.
Yeah, all those sort of 1%ers are all going to Pat's way in this match, hasn't it?
Certainly has. As Green got to the front position, but the ball was just a little bit too wide. Nice foil there by Dignamini, sorry. Comes out towards the centre half forward position. And you can see yet again the numbers are with St Pat's, but picking that ball up now is Williamson. Williamson just driving forward without a lot of system and trying to put it out to the front of Murphy Cohen. He taps it towards the boundary line, and they're really clutching at straws now, Duff.
Yeah, the big fellow's a bit frustrated. Loves a bit of theatre. I'd say he does a bit of drama at school, don't you think?
Yeah, it could do. And if there's, of course, the big man picks the ball up and it's out of bounds.
Oh, things just not going their way. It's not their day today, Hutchins, Hoppy. You can win all the roster games, but you need to turn it on in the big one, and they haven't done that.
This reminds me of a very famous Clarence underage team that you took part in, Duff. You might like to trail the home viewers a little bit about that.
Yes. I think we came up against...
What year was that, Duff?
1986. We came up against... might have been Paul Burnell's mob, or actually I think it was the next year that Paul and his boys did the same thing to us, where we won every game, Hoppy, undefeated in the roster series, got to the finals 2 years in a row, out in straight sets. Didn't even play in the big one. Very disappointing. That was the end of my football career.
I was going to say that would that could cut someone's career in shreds, Duff, and it certainly did you. But it's been a great find for you on the production side of things for junior football in Tasmania, or football in general, as St Pat's picking the ball up. They're fighting pretty hard. It was good work by Franklin to hold it in. But that is the siren. So three-quarter time, St Pat's 69, Hutchins 20, and I'm just not sure, Duff, if there's any way back from here.
And you've got some goal kickers there, Andrew.
Oh, it's been tremendous work there. Lee, it's Lockie Lee's got one, Matthew Allen, your mate's got a couple, Nicholson's got a single, Young a single, Sammy Stowe got two in that quarter, Brown, Rising and Johnson. And for Hutchins, Duff, I think it's been Murphy, Cohen and Bastic a single each as the boys come in to refuel and re-drink. One last foray. They don't want to give an inch. Can they come back? It'll be a great comeback if they can, Duff. It's going to be a long way, but if any team can, it'll be the very, very proud Hutchins Lions. So don't go away. We'll see if they can fight back in the last quarter. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The final quarter, the Hutchins versus St Pat's, the grand final for 2014. Everyone is coming down here with great anticipation that maybe Hutchins could run away with it, but St Pat's have had a fair bit to say, and they came out with a blistering first quarter effort where they were all over Hutchins like a cheap suit, Duff, and they fired home goal after goal, and Hutchins just haven't been able to work their way back into this match.
They've tried hard since quarter time, but just haven't had the scoreboard pressure, and I mean, look at that. They've got 2 goals, 8 on the board to three-quarter time. Just not enough. 49 points. They can't get back from here, Andrew.
No, they've been all right in general play, but as you just said, Duff, the scoreboard pressure has been the thing that has eluded them, as it's fighting pretty hard over the wing. They've got a lot of spunk and a lot of spirit, and if anything, at worst, they would definitely want to win this quarter and come away with something from the game.
Well, they actually won the second quarter, but just kicked the 1 goal in that second quarter. I don't think St Pat's actually scored a goal. But they need to do much more than that, and you'd like to get it back to, you know, like a 5-goal defeat if they could.
All right, boundary throw in. Great tap out there by Lee. He's been a tower of strength in the ruck, and this will certainly suit St Pat's. They don't mind just locking the game up, taking precious seconds off the game, because while the ball is out there, Hutchins aren't scoring, so that'll suit them down to the ground as Lorat picks that ball up. It goes out towards the scoreboard. Hard over the ball was Williams, driving it back into their forward area. Very nice spoil by the Hutchins defender as Thomas picks it up, but it beats him over the line and a boundary throw in.
Always a hard thing to come out, Hoppy, with so much expectation, and to, you know, put in a fairly poor performance like they have at the Hutchins boys. I think it'll be tail between the legs later on this afternoon. Did you ever play in a big grand final, Hop?
Certainly, I've been lucky enough to play in a few grand finals, Duff. I've been a winner and sadly on one particular occasion a loser, and it's not a great feeling, let me tell you that, as coming out taking a very strong mark is Allen, and he's providing to be a bit of a target, Duff. He's not as tall, but by gee, he's certainly a strong looking fellow, isn't he?
Very strong through the core, and he's got a lovely boot on him. And that goal in that forward pocket, that was an absolute ripper in that last quarter, wasn't it?
Certainly was. That's a big kick from 50 that slips it across to the left-hand side, and the first score of the quarter goes to St Pat's. as Hutchins just trying to get some system, and it's Campbell who leads up and takes a nice mark. Campbell, he's been one of the very much the shining lights across half-back. If it wasn't for him, I think that score would be a lot further away for St Pat's driving it out. But they've got that weighted numbers, and it's been somewhat static as Hay picks the ball up, goes back in towards the centre area of the ground to try and get some ball moving. Sliding over on that particular occasion, it was Kearney who couldn't quite pick it up, and it is Thomas now who mops up for St Pat's and drives it towards that outer side, but taking a nice mark is Liam Johnston. Johnston now trying to put the boys, the Hutchins boys, back into attack. They're up there front and centre as Allen couldn't quite pick that one up, but here's where they've been good, Duff. They've been able to quickly get out and get into space as the skipper Rising picks that one up, drives that one over, but it's almost kick to kick as Hutchins takes a nice mark in defence.
I think there's going to be a bit of kick to kick in this final quarter. The sting's probably gone out of the match a little bit as Lockie Allen's just going to try and create something here for the Hutchins boys, but it hasn't come off.
No, it certainly hasn't. He drove that ball down. St Pat's have the numbers. Comes back over the back there to Carlson. Carlson drives it in towards the half-forward flank. It's inside their 50 yet again. But mopping up, and he's done a pretty good job down there, Duff, is Jakey Morgan down at back pocket. But a nice mark and chipping in the last line of defence as the Lions come out, and that's a nice kick towards Williamson. Williamson's been pretty good, and they go back inboard now over the back. That's better play by Hutchins. They fire that ball in. They've got a man on, and taking a nice mark is Bastic, who has certainly been one of the shining lights for the Hutchins team.
He's been a live wire up there, playing over half forward. I think he's kicked one goal, has he? He kicked one in the last quarter, didn't he?
Yep, he certainly has been a goal kicker. He's one of the two, as Bastic just chips that one back. Didn't really kick it through with any great authority, and has steered it through for the minor score.
I think that's the story of the day, Hoppy. They've just been a little bit off the mark today at those critical times. But like you said, Bastic's been one of the shining lights. He's had a good game.
He has, as St Pat's on the last line defence drive it out towards that community side. They'll be more than happy to not run the gauntlet now, Duff, is just hold the ball, go down the line, form a pack and waste precious seconds off the clock, because the clock is their friend at this time in the game.
Good call, Andrew. And just looking around the body language of the Hutchins boys, it's the long arms and the head down at the moment. You hope that they're just going to play this one out and play for a bit of pride.
They certainly will, Duff, as Johnson picks that ball out, gets it out towards Murfitt, and he goes out towards the open side. Nice play. They've done that all day towards Parkin, who links up with a handball. They've had a lot better system today. They've always looked for someone running by and getting it out towards the open area, which has been fantastic, as there's been a little bit of encouragement from the St Pat's to play the free kick. But it's going to be a ball up right in front of the St Pat's grandstand there, Duff. And like you said, they brought a huge flotilla of cars came down this morning from the north of the state.
Yep, no, well supported, and they'll be having a bit of a party on the way back at Mood Food and other venues. Don't worry about that.
Certainly will. It'll be parties all round, as the trophy will go to the north of the state. They're a very, very good side, St Pat, a very good school. Very proud and a long tradition in their sporting prowess.
And you were saying before they played in the grand final last year?
Yeah, well, I'd done a little bit of coaching for St Virgil's team, Duff, and played against St Pat's. But that's in a different league, as they drive that towards the goal and put it through for a goal. That's a lovely shot. Hard, low, accurate shot, and a goal. And nice work there by Hutchins. Was that Bastic, or it might have been Berryman, I think, Duff?
Let's just have a look at this one.
As we just get the shot, we get hard and low.
I think it's Bastic, isn't it?
And nice shot on goal. Terrific work there, Duff. All right, so the ball will come back into the centre, and that's just what Hutchins needed. Will that give them some certain belief, Duff? They certainly be great for them to get a run on and will inject a bit of spark into the match. There's no doubt about that, as they're leading towards this ball again. Tries to pick it up and tackled ferociously as Summit has the ball and wrapped up by Johnston, and a boundary throw-in.
Well, certainly the game's had some spark. although in this quarter, it's sort of the spark has waned just a little bit. But like you were alluding to, you'd like to see Hutchins just kick a few goals and finish off the game well, as Lockie Allen's got the ball right in front of us.
Yeah, the intent from St Pat's right from the first bounce has been terrific. They haven't overstated the vigour. They've certainly come down here and they've told Hutchins, we're here to play, don't worry about that. They've given a bump, a little bit of argy-bargy, but that's where they've finished it, and they've gone on with the courageous running and linking up out across that open side of the ground, and that's why they are in the position they are in. And of course, Duff, they've been accurate in that front of goal.
That's right. Took their chances and kicked some rippers, especially in that first quarter.
First quarter, they certainly did take their chances as Thomas, who's been a terrific player, gets it back, and as Hawksley is over the ball, and it's still very slippery out there, although now it's quite a pleasant afternoon. But the rain at the start of the day has just sort of put the damper and made the school very, very hard, Duff.
Yep. All right. So just a kick on here for Hutchins, going to just bring the ball forward.
So Hutchins leading out. Beautiful mark, standing up tall. There are your hardest marks in football, Duff, of when you have to stand in front. Anyone's coming from any angle. I know it's very spectacular to run from the back, but that is as good a mark as you'll see. And Young and his teammates have stood up tall in every time they've been asked a question by Hutchins. They've had the answer. As Brown there is just sort of pushing his man and just probably reiterating and reminding him what the scoreboard is saying.
Should they bring in a rule when it's like this, Hoppy? You know, what are we out to? It's 43 points. The game's basically over. Mercy rule? Blow the siren?
Gee whiz, Stuff. I wouldn't have thought so. There's a lot of pride on the line here, and you're trying to peg your way back for St Pat's. As far as they're concerned, if they can rub Hutchins' noses in the dirt furthermore, Duff, they'll try and do everyone. And the Hutchins boys, very proud young men. We know quite a lot of them. They'll just be wanting to say, well, all right, we've lost this game, but we want to show something. Our support staff have come to help us out, our mums and dads. We've gone all these years through school. We're not going to go out without a fight. It's just not in our makeup, in our character. And so I can't see how they'll give it up from this position, Duff, as Murphy picks the ball up. He's got plenty of players helping out as Summit. That's a great smother. That's the sort of thing that gives the team a lift. Well played by Williamson, and goes back in. He needs a few helping hand players now. Nice work there by Hawksley. Gets it out to the player in Young, and Young just takes his time, spreads it wide, and ends up in the hands of Murphy. Sorry, that wasn't Murphy, that was Johnson. I apologise. And Johnson just taking his time, and this is what they've done. They've actually spread it well quickly, and then when they've needed to, they've stopped and taken their time, and they've linked up very, very nicely as Carlson takes that mark. Carlson gets St Pat's inside the 50. The ruckman comes out, and he's almost claimed that mark, but front and centre goes towards St Pat's as they drive it towards the goal. They're running pretty hard, and I think it's just beaten him out the line, and the boundary throw-in will be coming up. So last quarter here, and what's been a pretty entertaining game, but gee whiz, that first quarter where St Pat's basically just blew Hutchins out of the water. A brilliant blitz by them. It was unexpected, and it was fierce, it was ferocious, and it was hard as Murphy Cohen, excuse me, he's been deemed to be holding the ball on this particular time, and a nice tackle there by Kilali.
Gee, they'll be disappointed with this Hutchins. I'm just looking here at the results from the season as it was. They played 6, won 6, for 820 against 262 percentage, 312 as and undefeated. And to go down like this, Andrew, I think they'll be very disappointed.
Oh, it's always harsh.
I'm just rubbing their noses in the facts at the moment. The facts.
What about St Pat's season, Duff?
Yeah, played 6 obviously, won 4, lost 2. 16 points, 214 percentage. So also played very well, but not the out-and-out dominating season in the roster series like the Hutchins boys.
All right, well, there it is. The stats coming there from Duff, and as Murphy picks it up, he goes back in and butters up, and that's where they have had time and space all day. Nice play by Williams, who just arched his back and goes back in and gets that ball again. driving it forward. Man coming out, getting to the front position was Lee. He goes back in to try and get it, and by gee, they're in there hard and tough. They're still not giving an inch. As we are in the last quarter of the grand final.
So just the 4 sides there in the first division, Hoppy. The other teams, Scotch Oakburn and also Launceston Grammar. It's quite right, isn't it? You'd love to see another southern side involved. What can we do about that?
Well, I think...
we'll send them a DVD and just say, look, get your boys out there playing, because this is a great thing for the boys to be playing school footy.
You never know, Duff. I think there's a bit of a push afoot to get St Virgil's going right through to grade 12, and if that was the case, I think I know for a fact that those boys would be cock-a-hoot to represent the Saints. No doubt about that.
Of course, they'd need a coach, though.
I reckon they'd be queuing up there, some of their old scholars, Duff.
You have to apply though, Andrew.
Oh, well, I'm in the commentating booth now, Duff. I think that's all in past history. As talking of history, they are creating history, are the St Pat's boys here with a fantastic performance. Well worked there by Douglas. He's tried hard all day and he's had plenty of opposition as Allen has played a ripping game, and they're just standing up for each other here. It's all a little bit too late as the umpire will just throw that up to get the ball moving. Picked up there. Nice work by Hutchins. Gets the handball out towards Campbell. We know he won't stop as Bluey drives out wide. The running player there is Bryant. But chipping in, doing well now and well all day is Samet. Driving the ball back out towards that outer side. Man in front is O'Keefe. He goes down and now just trying hard to beaverishly pick the ball up and get it out to one of his teammates through Campbell. Campbell now gets the handball over the top and he's trying to go back in to get it again. But the boundary line there is saves the day, and brilliant work there by Murfitt.
Yeah, just doing the work there, aren't they, the St Pat's boys? Just not giving an inch. We've repeatedly said it. And, of course, just 3 goals on the board for Hutchins. It's been a bit of a dirty day.
Certainly has, Duff, and we get St Pat's. They've just decided to roll the dice and come back over, and that's because they've got numbers and they're really still running for each other as Kilali picks that ball up. It's Tucker who's in front, and the bounce eludes him. Hutchins now just trying to square that ball back, and they do so with great poise. Now just taking the opportunity to run back. Has been deemed to play on. Long driving kick back into their forward line, and it's a good mark by Bashford. Terrific work there. It was 1 on 3, and he was good enough to take the mark. He's a long way out, too far out for him to score. He puts the ball into that danger area. Big chance there by Dinyamini to pick the ball up, driving it back in. Oh, just slipped through the clutches there. Couldn't quite take the mark, as the good defensive work by St Pat's. And it'll be a ball up deep in towards the Hutchins attacking zone.
Don't you love this oval, Hoppy? Some of the architecture and the big blocks there in the background. Just a beautiful setting, isn't it, for a football ground? It's a kick on goal here by Hutchins, and as it's happened all day, they've had a few kicks like that, and, you know, it just needed to be a metre to the left-hand side. It would have been a goal, but the things just haven't quite gone their way, especially when they've been kicking on goal today.
Certainly was, and that was Green. And the other thing to note, Duff, it's a very, very nice crowd that's gathered for the game.
Oh, yeah, I'd say there must be, what, 500 or 600 here?
Oh, I reckon it'd probably be tipping well over up to the 1,000 mark, Duff, as we look just behind us. They're really filtering towards the bar now.
Maybe they should, you know, have a cover charge, a couple of dollars a head.
Oof.
You know?
That's certainly a good idea. Gold coin donation for some form of charity, Duff, do you think?
Not a bad idea, maybe.
The Duff TV charity?
Maybe next year.
All right, so Hutchins there taking a nice mark across the half-back flank. Gets it back in, and you can see the weight of numbers goes towards St Pat, as well picked up by Rising. Rising gets it out towards Summit. Summit shows a little bit of candy now, driving towards the leading forward, but terrific work there by Hutchins in the last line of defence. They've been pretty good across that last line. They've been put under pressure though too. Brilliant smother there by Kilali. Terrific work. It's that sort of 1%ing sort of stuff that really lifts a team. Good tackles here by Hutchins. And that's got their supporters up and about, Duff, because they know that they haven't given it away. They're still fighting very, very hard for the Hutchins Lions.
Well, I think that's what their supporters are just cheering the boys on for. It's 42 points. I mean, they could just lie down and it could be easily a, 10, 11, 12 goal defeat here, but that's not going to happen. They've come out in this last quarter and they're having a bit of a go.
They certainly are. Zarakman Dinyamini tries to tap that ball out. St Pat's are at the back and have the numbers now as Murphy just takes his time and tries to settle, and a lovely kick out. They give the handball and a lovely block. The man out toward this outer side is Brown, but chipping in, taking a great mark is Hay. Hay now runs on and drives the ball towards the centre half forward position, but the weight of numbers, there was 3 defenders there just dropping into the hole, waiting for that kick. They knew where it was going to go, Duff. The system has been always that Hutchins have just kicked that into that open space, and haven't St Pat's done really, really well to really mop those kicks up.
Yep, they've done it all day. It's just been a great team effort. They've been up and about. And it's just been one of those little 1%ers. It's amazing what can be the difference between a grand final victory and a loss, Hoppy. But the skipper back here for Hutchins done very well today.
Certainly has, as Campbell comes out towards the outer side and finds Williamson, who's trying to give them some run. As the ball goes forward, Young just goes the big spoil. I think that's Bastic who comes out, gets the handball back towards Williamson. Williamson screwing the ball back in towards the square. But look at this. There's 3 players unmanned, and they raffle that one, and Curtis Murphy ticket comes up and he takes the mark. He takes his time and goes towards the outer side as Tucker is over the ball. Now it's Hawksley back out again. And they're just teaming up beautifully now as Tyson just puts the old one Duke pulls that one in and takes a very timely mark.
Yep, they're very confident, the St Pat's boys. They're up and about, and what a wonderful thing it is when you're playing sport, Hoppy, when you've got the confidence. There's no better feeling, is there? When you just feel as though you can mark anything. You look up, you can handball, and you're always hitting a target. It's a great feeling.
Certainly is, and Murphy Cohen, who moves down from the forward position onto the wing and takes that mark. It's Douglas now who gets the handball out to Williamson, who's getting plenty of the ball and across that wing position. Falls over the back, a bit of an opportunity now for Hutchins, trying to sell the candy with Berryman. He gets the ball back over towards Bastic. But have a look at this pressure. It's just all St Pat's down there. Yet again, every single time that Hutchins try and find some space, they've got all the answers as Hutchins are fighting hard to stay in it down back. It is Hawksley who picks the ball up, gets it back over towards Tucker, driving it in towards that full forward line as Sammy Lee tries to come out. He's tripped. He falls over his own boot. It is now Allen. Allen gets that handball back, but it is Hutchins who have the numbers under enormous pressure and gets it towards their 50. It's still inside for St Pat's to try and score. Brown now. Brown driving it forward, and the man in front's going to take that mark and go back and have a shot on goal. It is Sam Lee.
Yep, good build up there. Just sort of fell into his lap here, as we can see the replay. He looked around, good kick on the left. And I think he meant to actually pass it to him. Playing in front, and the boys in the background there with the old shorts on. Don't you love that, Hoppy? And the puffer jackets.
They got the traditional tie and jacket duff, but the puffer jackets, of course, it's a little bit fresh.
Look at that young fella just perching himself up there like a little goat. They're very happy. I think there's some of the St Pat's boys actually come down. No doubt about that. And there's another goal to the St Pat's boys.
Well, if it wasn't already in, Duff, that was certainly the nail in the said Hutchins coffin as we watch on replay. A very deliberate shot on goal. Beautiful work there. It's straight through the high diddle and directly down towards the Derwin in 11-10 to 3-10. That is a big margin for a grand final, Duff.
Yeah, disappointing. 3 goals, 10. That's not the most accurate kicking. And probably about halfway through this last quarter, the sting sort of has gone out of the match though. But gee, it's been a great call by you, Hoppy. Well done, mate. You're been in good form as usual for Duff TV here today, as it's St Pat's building once again out to my mate in Allen. But this time he's put it on the left, and good pressure there by the Hutchins defence. Another behind.
Certainly is. And yeah, 6 wins from 6 starts. And St Pat's, who finished second with 4-2. Certainly the best 2 teams ended up here, Duff. You reckon St Pat's were just sort of foxing them throughout the season?
Yeah. And
I don't think that would have been the case, because I think the home ground advantage, and quite rightly, went to Hutchins for their great season, and I'm sure that St Pat's would have liked to have played it up in their home turf in Launceston. But it's been all St Pat's today, as we're just repeating ourselves. But that first quarter was just one of the best quarters in a grand final that you'd ever want to see, isn't it, Duff?
They were out of the blocks. They were up and about. They were tackling hard, and like we said before, very accurate kicking for goal. Just took their chances, and well, Hutchins have been playing catch-up footy all day.
They certainly have. Hutchins now, it's Murphy Cohen picking the ball up. Big opportunity as he drove that ball, and Lockie Allen slips in and takes a nice mark, and now we'll go back and have a deliberate set shot on goal.
And of course, Lockie, I think, is probably in grade 9 or 10, so he'll be playing for Hutchins for the next couple of years. A couple of younger boys here out in the park today. What a proud thing it is to play for your school, Hoppy, and of course a lot of the lads obviously in grade 12 now, and this will be their final game for them, for their school, and Lockie's put that right through the middle. That's a nice kick on goal.
Beautiful kick on goal there by Allen, as he gets a bit of a hug from his teammate there in Williamson. As we see this kick come in, kept his hands nice and low, kicked through the ball, and he slotted that one through for a much-needed goal for the Hutchins Lions.
And of course, Lockie's a prominent player down there at Sandy Bay. What would he be now? Must be under 16s, I'd say. And looking forward to his progress as a junior footballer too. He's one of the great full forwards in the STJFL.
All right, so it is the skipper Campbell who drives the ball forward, only gets as far as Killarney. He picks up lovely high hands, and it comes out, and the big ruckman there in Yamini couldn't pick that one up. Just taking their time over the ball and running down the clock as Walker passes that ball out to Hawksey, and he accepts that one with glee. As we can see, the coaching staff there, they look somewhat shell-shocked, Duff. It's Adam Palferman and Guy Abel. Of course, Guy has been a coach in the STJFL for Sandy Bay as well.
Yeah, great contributor to junior footy, Hoppy, no doubt about that.
Certainly is, and went to the Hutchins school as well, so it's great to see them giving back something to their school that they went as Hutchins screw that ball over. It's going close. It might be just through. I think it has, and Hutchins have strung a couple of goals together, Duff. That was really good. But there is the siren. The siren's gone, Duff. She's all over. St Pat's are the victors here in the grand final, and they are certainly cock-a-hoot. They are up and about. What a great victory it has been, as all the players are coming in, and they'll enjoy this moment and remember it very, very well.
Oh, just a great victory. As we know that Hutchins were the favourites coming into the match, and look at some of the dads in the background there who rap for their boys as well, which is fantastic scenes, Hoppy. It's can be a once-off for a lot of the everybody involved. Something I never experienced myself, but good on St Pat's. They've come out today, and this is just a wonderful moment for their school and all their mateship there out in the park today.
It certainly is. So a great grand final with St Pat's running out the victors, 76 to Hutchins 40, and this is what it's all about, Duff. They fronted off, and I tell you what, they didn't take a back step. But when it's all over and done with, you get up and you look your opponent in the eye and you thank them for the match, as this is what sportsmanship is all about. So terrific game down here at the War Memorial Oval in Hutchins, and there it is. They're just acknowledging the fact that they are the victors for the year 2014. Congratulations to St Pat's College.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite Mr. Wayne Brown, the Hutchins School Acting Deputy Headmaster, to make the presentation.
Thank you, Adrian. And firstly, to Adrian for putting on today. A round of applause for Adrian Finch, Head of Sport at Hutchins. Thank you, Adrian, for your work. Congratulations to both teams again making the SATIS Grand Final. To Hutchins, an undefeated season. Today wasn't your day, but that can't be taken away from your excellent season that you've had. So a round of applause for you guys. Before obviously handing over the trophy to St Patrick's College, please a round of applause for our umpires and officials today for all your work on both games. And thank you again to the parents and supporters that have come out and supported both games today, but in particular the first 18 game. To St Patrick's College boys, fantastic. You won it in the first quarter, no doubt, and you were first to the football all day, and you had a tremendous game, and congratulations on one, firstly making the grand final, and two, making it your game. So congratulations to you. I'd now like to invite the captain of St Patrick's College First 18 to take the trophy.
This is my captain, Lloyd Evans. He led us from the front all year. Excellent job. Secondly, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. Hutchins for a great game, a huge contest. There's no doubt that you guys were the best team all year. It was a hard game today, but it was ours today. Secondly, I'd like to thank everyone who came out and made it a huge, huge number to get around. Yeah. To our supporters, it was just outstanding for you guys to come down and help us get over the line. To our trainer, Joe Ratcliffe, our team manager, BJ, and our boys for just an outstanding game. It's a credit to yourselves. Well done. Thank you.
Casey's pretty much wrapped it up, but yeah, it's good to see a good crowd to come watch the match, and it's pretty devastating for me not to play, but proud of the boys. They did well, and well done to Hutchins. It's a bit unfortunate playing so well throughout the year and then to lose the grand final, but well done throughout the whole year, and it was great work. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you guys, enjoy it, and to all those that have travelled from up north, safe travels home, and we wish you all the best, and thank you once again for supporting school football, and certainly in Tasmania. Certainly today has been an outstanding performance and representation of school football. So safe travels, and thank you very much for your attendance today. Thank you.